To the member for Canberra.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. It's with great pleasure today that I rise to talk about the fact that the Albanese Labor government will be delivering a tax cut to every Australian taxpayer from 1 July this year. And this is truly great news for all Australians. The original Stage 3 tax cuts under Scott Morrison were legislated 5 years ago, before Australians experienced a global pandemic, catastrophic bushfires, a global inflation spike with higher interest rates and witnessed wars and global conflicts. The economy is not the same as it was when the Stage 3 tax cuts were first legislated. And as the great economist John Maynard Keynes said, when the facts change, I change my mind. What do you do? It is not for governments to not act when circumstances change. And what we have done here is we have listened to the community, including mine, who wanted to see a fairer plan for tax relief and tax cuts that will help more taxpayers with the cost of living with a bigger tax cut. And that is exactly what we are delivering with this tax plan. Taxpayers earning below $146,486 will get a bigger tax cut. Those earning above this level will still receive a tax cut, and we are delivering fair and responsible tax cuts for all 13.6 million taxpayers. 11.5 million people will get a bigger tax cut than they would have under Scott Morrison's plan, and that is 84%.
Can I ask the member for Canberra to refer to members by their seat?
Oh, okay. Apologies. The member for Cook. Taxpayers earning up to almost $150,000 will get a larger tax cut. This means that more people are getting more money in their pocket to help combat the cost of living crisis. Our government is committed to helping combat the cost of living for more Australians. And many of my constituents raised their concerns with me about the legislated Stage 3 tax cuts introduced by the member for Cook, the former Prime Minister, and I welcome that engagement with me as their local member on this really important issue. Because what they were concerned about was a policy that could have been done much better to benefit more Australians. They were concerned about the benefits going mainly to those on the highest incomes, many of them benefiting from it themselves, but writing to me to say they wanted to see a different plan. And under our plan, as I've said, more Australians will get more of a tax cut, and this is great news. The government is responding to the pressure that Australians are under right here and now. And as the Prime Minister says, it's not the job of a government to sit back and wring their hands when confronted with new challenges. It's our job to act, to take responsibility and to do the right thing, and that's what we've done. Australians are under pressure right now, and it's clear that every taxpayer needs and deserves a meaningful tax cut. Under our government's plan, the average Australian wage earner on $73,000 per annum will receive a tax cut of just over $1,500, which is $800 extra in their pocket than they would have received under the original plan. In my electorate, 78,000 taxpayers will be getting a tax cut, with 60,000 Canberrans receiving a bigger tax cut under our government than they would have under the original Stage 3 tax cuts plan. That is 77% of Canberran taxpayers who are receiving a bigger tax cut. Our plan is also fairer for women. Women will receive tax cuts that are fairer, better and bigger under our plan. All women taxpayers will receive a tax cut, and 90% of women taxpayers will be getting a larger tax cut under the Albanese Labor government's plan. That is 100% of working women who pay tax in Australia getting a tax cut, and this is fantastic news. On average, Australian women will get a tax cut of $1,649 each year under Labor's plan. 90% of Australian working women taxpayers will get a bigger tax cut under Labor's new tax plan when compared to the Stage 3 tax cuts. And under Labor's plan, 97% of childcare workers, disability carers and aged care workers will be better off. 96% of nurses will be better off, and 98% of teachers will be better off when compared to the previous government's plan. Labor's plan will put more money in women's pockets and make it easy for them to pick up extra hours of work if they want to, as they will keep more of what they earn. Because our government wants to see people earning more and keeping more of what they're earning. With the gender pay gap still at 13%, Giving women more money to help them in the short term while we work to close the gender pay gap means that the sting of the increased cost of living will be eased. 5.8 million women, or 90% of women taxpayers, will receive a bigger tax cut, an average increase of $707, and all 6.5 million women taxpayers will receive a tax cut of $1,649 on average. Our plan is also great for young people, and I have one of the youngest electorates in the country, in fact the fourth youngest electorate in the country. There are over 22,000 people under the age of 30 enrolled in the Division of Canberra, and it is young people who are facing the cost of living crisis head-on. This tax cut will ease some of the pressure on them and to ensure that they can prepare for their futures adequately. Under our government, all 1.5 million taxpayers aged 18 to 24 will get an average tax cut of just over $1,000. And all 1.6 million taxpayers aged 25 to 29 will get an average tax cut of $1,573. So this is great news for Canberrans, and I'm proud of the action that we're taking to reduce the cost of living pressures on everyday Canberrans and everyday Australians. Under Labor's plan, more Australians will get a tax cut and more Australians will get a bigger tax cut. As I said, around 79% of taxpayers in the ACT will receive a bigger tax cut from 24-25, and this is great news for our members of the community who are working hard, who talk to me every day about the difficulties that they're facing with the costs of living, to the people that raise concerns with me about the fairness of the Stage 3 tax cut plan, and everyone who is working hard and deserves a tax cut.